Hey guys, it's your boy APT Songs here on Thursday morning, November 8th. So, I am still an avid watcher of South Park. I've been watching it since I was 15 when I wasn't supposed to. And, as the years go on, you would think a show would get less relevant, but somehow they managed to stay relevant. So this particular season, they've done this serialized thing where like almost either at the beginning of every episode or somewhere in the midst of the episode, they focus in on the school and you just hear gunshots. And so that's obviously indicative of a school shooting that's happening. And throughout the course of this season, they've done various bits in the episodes where it's basically boiled down to these school shootings are happening so much. It's almost seen as though it's just commonplace. Like the kids go to school every day and then they hear a gunshot, then they keep going to class, or gunshots happen and the parents get hit up about it and it's almost like no big deal. So last night's episode, they took it out of the classroom where like basically a shooting happens in place and the police think like, oh my God, these school shootings are now happening outside of schools. How could this be happening? Why don't they just stay in the schools and whatever? And this episode came out at like 10 o'clock at night and I laughed hilariously because I'm like, oh, that's so funny that now they're like saying that school shootings are so bad that now they're happening outside of the schools. Not 2 hours later, as I'm flipping through channels, I come across ABC and they have a breaking news story. And the breaking news story is that there's a shooting that is happening right now in Thousand Oaks. We're unclear on all the details that are happening. We don't know if the gunman inside has been killed or not, or what's going on, who's there, but we don't know if the shooting's still currently happening at this moment. But it was like 11:57-ish when I was turning channels and I saw this. And my first thought was, well, that'll probably be the big news story tomorrow. And then I turned the channel. So this morning I thought when I was reading through all the stuff on Yahoo News about the shooting, the people that were killed, the police officer, the gunman, I was just like thinking back to my reaction last night, thinking how sad is it that shootings happen so much in this country that my reaction is one of just apathy. Like, here we go again. All right, I'll hear it on the news cycle tomorrow. And then I go to something else completely different, as if what's currently happening as I'm looking at it is of no consequence. And that is where we're at now with shootings in this country. For all the president wants to do about talking about caravans coming to this country and, the threats of immigrants in this country, the real domestic threat at this point seems to be people that live in the suburbs that are white, that are men, that have guns. And I'm sure that'll be talked about for all of like 2 or 3 days. And then we'll go back to the dangerous caravan that's coming to rape us and kill us and take all our jobs. I just think back to a time when, like when Columbine happened and the school shooting occurred, and I would just be glued to the TV, just thinking, how could this possibly happen? How is it that people could be so evil and not care about others enough to the point where they just want to just shoot everybody and just take their lives? And it was like a really big deal. 19 years later, it's just like, okay, so in another week, another one's gonna happen. So let's just get through this news cycle real quick so we can get back to life for a little bit and then go back to shootings. And I don't like that that's where I'm at with it. But what do you do? If something becomes a consistent thing, it's almost like it goes from like being, how can we fix the problem, to, well, it's a problem, but what can I do, to, well, that's just part of life. I have no solutions to that. I'm sure there'll probably be another debate about gun control and what should be done and yada, yada, yada. But, there's obviously two sides to that issue too, between like, do you work for gun reform and hope that it's going to do something, but does that then take away guns from like minorities in the underserved community that they would probably target for these things? Or do you do absolutely nothing and then continue for these things to happen? And Americans are very good at saying, well, just because certain things are working in, there are other countries that have better gun control, and we'll look at them and say, well, just because it works for them doesn't mean it can work for us. So the solution is either do nothing or pass laws that seem to take guns away from people that aren't really using them dangerously. So what do you do? Anyway, those are just my rambling thoughts on the shooting that happened. Like I said, it was just so weird seeing it last night, just knowing that it would be a talking point, but also not feeling like it even mattered. And there's got to be a way to remedy that somehow. So, love to hear your comments. I'm APT Songs, and I will catch you on what hopefully will be a happier or more informative video the next time. I'm out. Peace.